Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is the smoker rebuild part 2. What we're going to be doing on this episode, we're going to be adding a couple of cross members in to help support the weight of the smoker and the load of firewood, as well as boxing in the back half of the frame so that way it is a complete box and not just two open ends. Alright, so the other night I come in and I set the camera up there on the loft here, and I just got an overhead view. I didn't have an extra hand to be able to hold the camera and do anything, but I tack welded in these cross members out of some 2.5 by 1.25, I think. Okay, so anyways, I installed the 2 by 1.5 angle cross members, put in 2 of them, one right there, one right here. That way, give a little support in between this cross member and the back one there, and then that one and the front one, obviously. But right here is just going to be a flat deck. The smoker firebox is going to be back here. It's going to come up. The belly of the smoker will be right at the bottom of the belly, will be right here, and then the front leg that comes down. And then at the front, we'll have a couple of propane tanks and a propane cooker eye. That way you can boil whatever you need to without having to try and do it on the smoker. But the other night, I videoed that. It's going to have quick time lapse of it. Nothing too spectacular going on. But the back part of the frame here, we have just 2 open holes and then the cross member that goes along the bottom there. But when my dad started building this, he cut off about 2 feet or so. Let's see. Oop. He cut off, right at 2 feet of the frame. I'm gonna take the end of it here and the end of it there on that square tubing or rectangular tubing. I'm gonna pull off this cross member because it's just bolted down. I'm gonna butt weld those together and use them to box in the back part of the frame. Repurposing old metal that's just scrap laying around that nobody else would use for something that's worthwhile saves you so much money, and you can get so much done. Just a little bit of hard work, a little bit of extra labor to try and clean up the metal. That way you could weld it together, make it strong. But other than that, it's just as good as a new piece you go buy at the steel yard. So always think about that. If you're ever trying to do something by yourself and you're trying to save a few dollars, you got an old piece of scrap iron laying around, look and see if you can turn that into what you need to get the job done. All right, so I got the camera set up. Please just enjoy the view. We're gonna have to cut all these bolts off here. Sorry about the angle if it's not that great. Still learning how this camera's doing. These bolts, they're just too rusted to stick a socket on, really. It's gonna be a whole bunch of trouble. We're already gonna have to cut this weld off and fix a little bit there, so just take a grinder, skinny wheel, put on some protective gear right quick. I do recommend always wearing safety glasses. Anything to cover and protect your eyes is better than nothing, because one of these skinny wheels blow apart or one of these grinding wheels blow apart, it could be you losing your eye, hurting yourself very bad. So any bit of protective equipment you put on is always better than nothing. break time, everybody. I got two sides of this other piece cleaned up, the two wider sides, and that end up there done. This piece is ready to be welded in. Just got to get that one finished so that way we can butt weld them up and let it go. But I'm hungry. It's been a couple hours, been down here. I'm going to get something to eat. I will talk to y'all in just a minute. All right, guys, back from lunch. I had to go get something to eat down here for a few hours. You know, you get hungry. So, like, to show you what I done here, as you can see, the level, which is not a perfect straight edge, but a very good one. I stuck this grinder tool for changing out your cutting wheels, your grinding wheels, just right under the edge there. Let's see if you can see my finger in behind. See my finger there? To fill that gap, because my table's not perfectly straight, so clamping it down to the table would not be the best move. So, while we're waiting on our rear piece of frame to cool off, it's still pretty hot to the touch. We're gonna come over, we're gonna cut these off square. Go ahead and clean up. All right, by now our back piece of framing here is plenty cool to the touch. We're gonna clean these welds up a little bit and see how it goes. Just flushing that weld down with the rest of it. Here you can see I've got the rear section of frame. It's going to be boxing it off, mocked up, built, butt welded, put together. We're going to have a little bit of a gap because not everybody's perfect. But we'll line her up square, double check, tack it in, double check again. But as of right now, we're not perfectly square, but I'm also touching it a little bit. Let me get off that welding BB. See, it's not too bad. This side's even better. So, we've got it in square, cleaned up, fixing the tack welded in. Show you what I got. These ears that are hanging off, they will probably get cut off and squared and boxed in, so that way they're not going to be exposed. But this is where we're at. I'm going to put a couple of tack beads in. Once I get those tacks in, it'll probably be the end of the day for me. I have got to go to town before the rest of the business is closed and everything. Pick up a few things so that way the next time we're in here, we can get a few more things done on the project. So enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, leave them below. I do reply to everybody. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the little bell. Anything's appreciated. Enjoy the rest of the clip. Y'all have a good day.